Now, have you ever wondered how a particular image of an exoplanet is actually created and also being reviewed? Here are a couple of interesting images that are produced by James Webb Telescope that was really fascinating to actually be produced. Huge process to actually uncover this. We're going to check out what this particular exoplanet is, what it is like, how it is compared to Earth, and most importantly, what are the implications of this incredible discovery and also production of this first image. Now, according to CNN here, it says here that the first direct image of an exoplanet with the James Webb Telescope actually is outside our solar system, of course, because it's an exoplanet outside of our main solar system. Now, one thing that is to keep in mind is that it is a gas giant that's about 6 to around 12 times the mass of Jupiter, which means that, it is larger by it's bigger than Earth by far, really huge. Now, this planet is called the HIP 65426b, and it's about this particular years old, 15 to 20 million years old. Now, we know that Earth, of course, is around 4.5 billion years old, so therefore Earth is way more superior in terms of its age compared to this particular exoplanet. Now, it's really interesting to see what this particular exoplanet actually has to offer in terms of its atmospheric composition, like what James Webb has already done with its own instruments, being able to detect presence of water in one specific exoplanet. That was one of the first images or data that was produced by James Webb Telescope, but also the presence of carbon dioxide on a different particular exoplanet. So now, thinking about how this is going to be applicable to this particular exoplanet is truly fascinating. With its size that huge, it's going to be interesting to see how this is going to be relevant in terms of how this might impact the presence of various heavy metals, maybe possibly in that particular exoplanet. Now, another thing here to keep in mind is that in terms of the distance from this particular exoplanet to our particular planet, which is Earth, is around 385 light years away from Earth, which is quite close, not really far at all compared to other ones. Like the most recent one was around 700 light years that we talked about on our previous video, and this here is also tells us that it is 100 times further from its host star than Earth is from the sun. So it's actually much more further away from its sun than ours compared to our own sun. So this comes to a surprising here in terms of that distance, and also most importantly how that distance can impact its rotation and speed relative to this particular sun as compared to our own sun. So this star is as much bigger than planets, and in this case this particular planet is more than 10,000 times fainter than its host star in near infrared light, according to the images that are shown here. Now, this statement poses some great challenges, because if you have a star that is really way brighter than that of the planet, it is really impossible, or really according to this article, 10 times impossible to visualize this particular image of this planet. And so what they had to do, according to this article, is they had to do a lot of image processing, which requires a lot of data to analyze its near infrared to more of the mid-infrared region in order for we to reveal this particular planet and its first image, as we see in this particular image that was released by NASA right over here. And it's really nice to see the progression from purple to blue to a little bit of yellow and to a little bit deep red, that shows the transition from the near infrared region cameras to more of the mid infrared region cameras. So it's really fascinating to see this processing and how this particular challenge can be overcome during this particular, or due to the use of these processing method of transitioning from the near vision to more of the infrared region. Take note here that this particular telescope, which is Hubble Telescope, is able to discover images of exoplanets, but mainly in the visible region, which is really fainter than what we actually have from the near infrared region. So this is really wonderful to see how James Webb Telescope is actually able to capitalize on its particular capacity to produce images like this that is really fascinating and more in-depth analysis that will be coming very soon. Now take note that this particular image of this particular exoplanet actually came up from a first discovery of this planet, which was actually in the year 2017. According to this article, it says here, using the Europe Southern Observatory very large telescope and its sphere instrument located in Chile, they were able to provide this particular discovery of this exoplanet specifically, and from there this James Webb Telescope is able to produce this first image through this particular in-depth analysis right over here. Now the challenge here is that the instrument that was used to discover this particular planet actually used the short infrared wavelength, but James Webb Telescope is able to actually go for a longer infrared wavelength in order for we to shed light on the new details about this particular exoplanet. Now the next question is this: if this particular image is shifted further far in the infrared region or closer to the radio wave region, will the image be clearer, or will it be in a very nice, less pixelated region and see a clear visual of this particular planet? Only more analysis will tell. Hopefully they're able to push that envelope in terms of this particular visual of this planet, and most importantly the content of this planet and what it has to offer, and many more planets out there that are exo-like in nature. So this is really fantastic to actually check this out. You can check the article in the description down below, more about the images in clear visual, detail, and also what your thoughts about many more exoplanets that will be coming up in terms of not only data but also images. So hit the comment down below. Let me hear your thoughts about this particular method of discovering exoplanets using James Webb Telescope. Do you think it's really worth it in terms of the results that we are seeing, or do you expect it to be a little bit more crisp and less pixelated and more smooth and fantastic? So jump down to the comment section and let me know your thoughts about this. All the same, thanks for watching. See you on the next one. Stay smart as always and believe in yourselves.